Welcome to the webinar. It is arranged by Nayadaya Analytics, and today we talk about how to avoid M&A integration failures. We do this with science and AI-driven people risk analytics. I am Maria Kausto-Turner from Nayadaya Analytics, and in today's webinar we have Timo Järvinen, our co-founder from Nayadaya Analytics. And before we start, I am happy to say that with us, we have now participants from 14 different countries. I think this is our record countries. So excellent, wonderful. Welcome everybody. Timo, would you like to say a couple of words for the start?
Yes, thank you, Maria. Myself, I founded the Nayadaya Analytics something like 7 years ago. And during these years, we have dived into the science of emotions and behavior together with our team. And using the scientific background, which is from the University of Geneva, Switzerland, we have been solving the business critical problems related to people, and with the help of science and help of AI. And today we are talking about a totally new way to manage people-related risks, and especially in the M&A integrations. So that's the focus today.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, Timo. Briefly, before I let you start, about the agenda, we have about 30 minutes for this webinar, and at the end there should be time for a couple of questions. So if you have any questions during this webinar that you think of, please submit them via the chat channel so I can see them and I can then ask the questions at the end. Okay, let's go.
Okay, thank you. So about the people risks in M&A integrations. So like things like employee turnover and productivity loss. I think it's good to remember that the reasons behind these risks, they are not the people. I mean, the root causes, they are in the integration process itself. And I would say that identifying these risks, it's like looking at the mirror. This is something where we can help. And why is this so important then? That's because of the people-related risks. They are so high. M&A, they are huge investments and with high goals. And according to studies, they tend to fail too often. And as Deloitte says here, especially they tend to fail because of the people and culture-related reasons. But still, those reasons, those risks, they are usually not known as well as they should. And well, actually, Deloitte is also a partner here. They have been helping us to develop what I'm going to show you later now. And let's go and start from a bit about actually a kind of common misunderstanding here, which is related to employee experiences and behavior. And this science-based image here, it tells us that every emotion has a different impact on behavior. And in this diagram, from negative to positive behavior and from disengagement to disengagement, and these emotions here, they are from the Geneva model. So in the M&A context, this means, for example, that the emotion of disappointment there, for example, it tends to cause disengage and negative behavior, which may lead into employee turnover and productivity loss. On the other hand, the contentment there, or the satisfaction, that's a positive emotion, but it makes people passive, so not willing to do almost anything, actually. And it does not promote the change or the integration. Or the third one, maybe there, the interest. On the other hand, it's an emotion which creates like more engagement than any other emotion here. So very different kind of impacts on behavior. Well, now there is the traditional service scale, for example, satisfaction or NPS. So that's only about the negativity or positivity of emotions and experiences. And now this curve here, it tells us something that many people don't even think about, which is, well, first of all, this is not a change curve, not like that. This tells us that in any context, the negativity or the positivity of emotions, the so-called valence, as we call it, in practice, the traditional scale of satisfaction, for example. So it's not correlating with the engagement at all, as you see. So they are two totally different dimensions of behavior. So meaning that if you need to understand engagement and disengagement and the root causes there, then the traditional survey scales, they are even useless. But with emotions and science, it's possible to understand the engagement and disengagement, and this is something we can do. Okay, let's take a look at the process, this method and this technology we call people risk analytics. So it's very simple to customers. And first of all, the input here, it means that we are collecting some data from employees. Then the data is processed with our analytics, science and AI-based algorithms there. And then the output includes 3 levels: people risk levels, their root causes, and action points and recommendations there. And to avoid the financially significant failings, and of course not forget the distress of people also there. And this standard process can be executed and repeated at the same way, for example 3 times during the integration. And this process in general, it's scaling from even 10 people to thousands or even tens of thousands of employees. Sorry, so now I will show you the input and the outputs, and finally I will tell you something about the analytics and the AI behind this. But let's start from the input and the cloud application. That's very easy to share this with people. We do not need the traditional service with many burdening questions. You need to only ask like 3 questions to employees, and they are about emotions, their intensities, and the reason behind them. And the first question there, it's how do you feel about the integration with that company, whatever it is. And you can select 1 or 2 emotions from these 20 emotions, or even no emotions. And this method here, it's based on the scientific research in the University of Geneva in Switzerland. A lot of theoretical background there. We can't go there right now, but just saying that it's multilingual, multicultural way to express and understand emotions. And we have already like 10 languages available there. An excellent way to cover the human emotion space, I would say. Then the intensities, they are simple selections, nothing more. And in the third question, the reasons, they are short, free-form responses, like why do you feel, for example, interest or fear in the context of the integration. So the whole survey is short, intuitive, it takes only a couple of minutes, not burdening people. And we do not identify people, no personal data there. And one more thing here is that these questions, they are always the same. So you do not need to like start any project or planning there. Of course, some kind of background variables can be used depending on the size of the company. But this is all basically what you need. Then let's move on to the outputs. The first output is about the people risk levels here. And the first kind of donut here, it's about employee experiences, also showing the polarization there. Like, I mean, people may feel positive and negative emotions at the same time. Then another even more intelligent indicator there, it's this risk level. That's a number between 0 and 100, and we calculate that with our algorithm, and it predicts behavior. It predicts like negative and disengaged and non-pro-social behavior. That means that the bigger the number is, the bigger is the risk for the integration to fail. And you can use these indicators to compare risks, for example, in different phases of the integration, or in different integrations, or in different business units, how you like. But anyway, with all these indicators here, you can see even in seconds if there's a crisis going on. They are really kind of expressive indicators that way. Okay, then second output level, and the root cause analytics, and this is a snapshot about concrete things behind the risks. The sizes of the bubbles, they indicate the relevance of those things to people, the weight of them, and their location is about the behavior. As you see, also the engagement dimension is there, and these bubbles, they are different every time. So all this information can be analyzed, and we got this from the 3 questions and responses. So case-by-case situation here, and those quadrants there, they're visualized, for example, up right there. These are the things behind, like retention and motivation, productivity, readiness for change, all those things. Then right down there are the things that make people more passive. I mean, positive but passive, and they are more like root causes of the kind of comfort zone there. Then left down there, these are the things behind employee turnover and productivity loss, and all the bad things we would like to see there. And then left up there are the things behind resistance or even aggressive behavior, which is of course not good for the change either. So the goal in general would be to move those bubbles to the up right corner, of course. And in general, this is the reality of people and their behavior. And with emotions and science, there's this kind of magic where we can automatically eliminate all the irrelevant things there, visualize only those things that have an impact on behavior, and AI is there, part of that process too. So this snapshot also can be used to compare situations at different phases of the integration, and we've seen many different kind of cases. You know, only like green bubbles, only with red bubbles, and also these kind of combinations, many kind of combinations. So really expressive, intuitive way to understand this situation. Okay, then we go to the third level of the output, which means action points, and starting here from the risk factors. So our algorithm actually it's identifying and prioritizing these, and in this example they are workload, employment, and leadership and tools. So you see here what the risks are, their weights. You see the arrows there, they tell you if they are increasing or decreasing, or those circles are about if it's a new risk, not been in the previous round, I mean. And then we have the same kind of list for the protectors. These are the things that kind of like secure the integration against people risks. And also here you will see like what protectors are increasing or decreasing. Simple way to understand these things. And based on these risk factors and protectors, we create a summary of action recommendations. And for creating this, we use science, and we use AI, and we use MTA process intelligence. I will show you a little bit more about that. And after this, we are able to go even deeper. For each risk factor, we can give these recommendations for actions. This example is the workload. So all these action cards, they are based on the case-by-case result and the situation, even the phase of the integration. And below you see examples of responses. So we are able to combine qualitative and quantitative information there. So in this example, I would say that these action recommendations are here to minimize the people risks caused by the workload in this case. Okay, then another example of action recommendations for a protector here, the same kind of information here. So there is this action card for every risk factor, every protector we have identified here. So all in all, by asking only 3 questions, you will get the risk levels, the root causes, the list of risk factors and those protectors, and then the action recommendations. And you do not need to know anything about emotions or science. So this is what you get. Okay, then about the analytics. This patent pending method and technology we have been created, and behind this simple process input and these outputs. There is this sophisticated analytics with science and AI-based algorithms. And the first level here is the emotion, we call it emotion and behavior intelligence, which is benefiting especially from science and AI also. The second level is about setting goals, as you see there. Third level, that's a quite new one actually. It's a multi-dimensional framework for identifying the right kind of actions. And this is based on science and the process intelligence and integration best practices. We've been building that together with Deloitte. And then the fourth level is the generative AI. So with AI, we analyze the total package of analytics goals and actions, and also external information about integrations. So this is how we get to the fifth level, which is about those action points and recommendations, and to achieve those goals and to build successful integrations. And from all this, we get the 3 outputs now. So to get those concrete outputs by asking only the 3 questions we saw there before, you need this deep analytics with science, with AI, all this under the surface, and you can focus on the results. Then a couple of more words about the use of AI here. So we are using like several AI services and models in our underlying technology there, and in general, this model has 2 sides, AI and human completing each other. And here are some concrete examples how we use AI. So first of all, translating those responses from different languages. That's of course quite obvious. The second one is about analyzing and categorizing those responses to like find out the types of the root causes behind the emotions. Then the third one is about making those action recommendations to mitigate the people risks and to avoid the failing integration. So this is very critical aspect of the solution, and we use generative AI and large language models there in combination with the scientific, I would say like science-based rules and algorithms, and I would say that, well, we have been developing that during many years based on the Geneva research, of course, but also in collaboration with Deloitte. So a lot of work have been done there. And one more thing is the process of improving our algorithms with AI. But what are the benefits of AI in this process we have here? So a couple of things, so with AI, first of all, we are able to serve a large number of languages. We already have about 10, number is increasing. Actually, we can manage with this system over even like 200 languages. Then secondly, the speed of the process is faster with AI. I mean, this is essential since we are pointing out risks here. So if there is some kind of crisis going on, it's important to act quickly, of course. Then there's the consistency and the objectiveness of meaning like consistent quality, and also like results not depending on people and different kind of evaluations. But especially the last one there, through those action recommendations, we are able to provide totally new insights and high customer value there, and growing impact on business. So when we use AI, just to be said here also that it needs to be done carefully, so with precise protocols to ensure the information security, and for example the European Union AI Act, which is recently approved and will be adopted by companies in the coming months, coming years. So we are already compliant with that kind of regulations. And one more thing is that there's always the human checks and human rating in the process, meaning that this is a combination of AI and human kind of guidance, I would say. Okay, then one practical example here, this Rantalainen Group. So they are one of Finland's biggest financial service providers. They have a strong growth going on in the Nordic countries, sorry, and with the Norwegian private equity company actually. So they have been using this solution almost 2 years now, executing exactly the same process in all integrations, and to find the risks and the right actions to build successful integrations and business. And so this is an example how you can scale the same solution inside a company, and Kimmo Martikainen there will gladly tell you more if you like to hear some experiences from his point of view. Then getting back to where we started. So what we have seen here, it's like looking at the integration through the eyes of people, like stepping into the shoes of people and building social sustainability also. So when AI is used, it needs to be done ethically, and this is what we promise here. So even if the focus is to be a kind of insurance for significant financial losses in these processes, it's also about being kind to people and planet. Okay, this is about all. So here's my contact information, also for our new CEO, Petri Järvinen. If you wonder why we have the same last name, that's because we are brothers with Petri. And so Petri came back from Singapore, where he worked like 10 years in the Accenture Group there, and to be our CEO and partner here. And we have a long history together with him, also working together for many years. I'm really glad to having him leading our team now, and myself, I am now totally focusing on our customer value. Many things we saw here now today. So you can contact me, you can contact Petri. We are more than happy to discuss with you. Maybe in the end, I would like to say that if you want to be like ahead of others here, start to use AI in your integrations for solving one of the most critical and maybe most expensive problems one could like ever imagine. We are here to help you. And also on our web page najadaja.com, there's a link where you can also book a meeting if you like to make it that way. So we are really excited to continue discussions with you. But now, thank you very much. Let's be in touch.
Okay, thanks, Timo. We are now at the end of the presentation, and I want to thank from my part also you all as well for participating. And those who want to stay for questioning questions, we have actually some questions that have come through the chat, and I will read them now. So Timo, are you ready to respond?
Try to do my best, yes.
yeah. Here comes the first one, as far as I can find it. Here it is. The key to the failure in M&A is due to people and culture. Are these questions asked to all staffs or the target group, or a target or a sample?
So are we targeting these questions to some kind of sample of the company? Did you say it like that?
Yeah, it sounds like my understanding about these questions are these questions asked to all staffs, or sort of like, do you ask the entire company, or do you pinpoint some sort of a target group or a sample group from there?
Of course, that depends what we want, but it's quite useful to make the same questions to all the people in the acquired company, I would say, and then we can kind of see those groups, see the results in different groups and compare them. Of course, in some cases, it's possible to, for example, to use only certain groups of people who are, if the acquisition affects them especially, and not to some other kind of groups. There's, of course, there kind of, we can do some kind of arrangements there, what's like reasonable to how it's best to do. But yeah, it's quite normal to kind of give every people their voice,
Yeah, it's also about the inclusion and so forth. If you really start pinpointing a certain group, then it becomes questionable if it's a really something that you want to know from the entire company. But like you said, it depends on the case. But everything is possible. We can do it targeted, or we can do it to the entire company, right?
At least the most critical people should be in that group.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, naturally, right. Next question from the chat box is: according to research, the largest M&A integration failure trigger is culture clash. Do you have an AI tool capable of identifying culture clash?
Well, I would say that the AI helps us in identifying those significant aspects of that kind of a culture clash. I would say, if they are meaningful to people and they arose, people talk about those things in their responses, and when we analyze that through AI, I would say that yes.
Right. Okay. Then there are more. This is wonderful. People are very interested. So how are the analytics results and following actions communicated to the participating people? So
yes, yeah, I understand. That actually, that's a good question also, because I think it's important to communicate the results to employees. We have instructions how to do that. We have also normally like short version of the report that can be given to people, and then when the concrete actions have been decided based on the recommendations of the analytics, then these actions to be taken, I think they should be like communicated to employees, because the message is like this, like that you have been heard, these are your experiences, and the root cause is there, and these are things what we are going to do. So I really think this kind of communication and interaction with the people is essentially yes.
Right, and then the actions will be speaking the loudest if you actually do something about it. That's always the case. Okay, and then there's one more, or at least actually two more. You seem to be using artificial intelligence a lot. Do you have any concerns on keeping personal data safe?
Yes, I'm glad you pointed that out. because it's of course many people think pondering these questions nowadays, and I would say that we take the AI security very seriously here. So the first thing is that we are not collecting any personal data. So that's the first thing here. And then we also we anonymize all company related data. So any company can't be identified there. And also the data we use, it's not used to train any like third party owned AI models, you know. So it's not used in that kind of way. So these three things are definitely taking paid attention to, I would say.
Right. I have one more question here, but I noticed that we are out of time, but I can say it, and let's see. It is a little bit vague, and I'm not 100% sure what it means, but let's see. And then we will have to end. It will be interesting to find out how you guys came with the weight. And I'm not 100% sure what weight are we talking about here.
I believe I do. Probably it's about, he or she maybe means the weights of those risk factors, for example. And I can say something about that. So, for example, in the root cause analytics, there were different sizes of those bubbles. So they are they are based on those things, how people have been giving the reasons behind the emotions, and the categorizing process make this understanding like quantitative, first of all. And the more often, for example, let's have an example, that workload, which was one of those words. The more the workload has been said as a reason for those emotions, the bigger the bubble will become. But it's not only about that, it's also about the intensity of the emotions. And actually, it's not even only about that, because when we kind of calculate those risk factors, there are also some other kind of things. And we use also, for example, this algorithm we have for behavior, for calculating those weights. So actually, it's quite, I would say, sophisticated in a scientific process how we do that. Right. And I can't go to the details more here, but that was a good question. And it's a quite sophisticated process.
Yeah, yes, indeed. Multidimensional and everything. Yes. Okay, well, now we're definitely out of time. So thank you very much, Timo, and thank you for everybody for participating. And this really concludes our webinar for today. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. See you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.